As the richest region in Japan, the Kenai area was the easiest place for discontented samurai to conduct raids on the established clans. The route from the capital, Kyoto, to the financial center of Sakai was a favorite for aimless brigands, attacking merchants, pilgrims, farmers, and clan troops alike. The arrival of Nariko had brought a temporary respite, her reputation alone enough to keep many would-be bandits in hiding. But the people were far from safe. With the roads cleared of bandits, hostile clan armies were free to invade.
Miyoshi-sama, they're twice our number. We must fall back. We already fell back. This is where we fell back too. And how many villages were burned to the ground because of it? I'm sick of it. No more. If we go down here, we'll give the Ukita such a butchering they'll be forced to go home. Thousands of lives depend on it. As you wish, my lord. Advance, men. Think of your families. Fight with all the life you have left. Don't mind if I do. Face me. Only on my sword can you die with honor. Not that you deserve it. Ah!
My lord, please get back. Make way for our lord.
Get Lord Miyoshi out of there. I'll buy you some time.
Is that Nariko of the Thousand Widows?
Treasures, actually. Now go. My men will cover the field in arrows as soon as you're away. The enemy won't be able to follow.
Nariko Dono, we're away. Get out of there. There's still someone in there. I'll try to... Oh! Nariko, she's hurt. Go, get in there. We're her honor guard, right? Let's act like it, ladies.
Well, we're not staying behind either. Follow me. Clear that hill.
Anyone fancy a bit of action? Right this way, fellows.
No one takes a step nearer to the commander while I still stand. Well, you didn't stand for long, did you, pompous samurai?
Kochika, don't tell me you need an honor guard as well. Where would you all be without me? That wasn't so bad. Better a real fight than Lady Mary's training.
Nariko Dono, are you okay?
About as okay as you are, my lord.
Good, good. I believe gratitude is in order. You've saved my life almost certainly, and moreover you've saved countless others from whatever those bloodthirsty Ukita would do next.
Not a problem. That's the sort of thing I do, my lord.
Yes, well now I appreciate that a little more than mere stories allow, and I think that I would be quite a monster if I didn't help you with your own mission after this. You can forget about the bandits. Meet me in Kyoto when you can.
And miss a chance to liberate all that loot? You flatter yourself if you think we did all that just for you.
Maricha, do you even know who you're talking to?
I'm talking to 3 half-dead people who should really be lying down. Come on, I'm serious.
Oh, I like her. Until our next audience, if I don't see you coming to bail your friend from my jail before then.
So Great Lord Miyoshi seems to be willing to help us now. We don't necessarily need to clear out his rebel problem, but it's so profitable to do so that there's plenty of reason for us to just go ahead anyway and complete the original plan of wiping out the Kenai rebels near the capital. So here is one such attempt to do just that, fighting a pretty large band of rebels here, going to be sniping away and once again using Nariko as a distraction to lure off all of their melee focused troops, doing a super cheeky jump over the top of an enemy pike thrust. What a show-off Nariko has become. But anyway, the rest of the battle fairly easy, as our skirmishers will simply rain arrows on the distracted enemies, and we just need to cut down the enemy as their morale breaks and they rout. I think it would take a very large rebel party for these tactics to not work, so we should be pretty safe to finish off our little campaign. Kojiro managing to get wounded there, so I'm not sure what he did since he was just sitting in the line with the rest, perhaps getting shot by one of the few enemy skirmishers. Now, as I was moving along, I noticed this Asakura army led by Lord Shima was targeting this trade caravan and seemed to just be attacking them, so I decided to step in here and actually support the caravan. The samurai may think that attacking civilian caravans is an okay thing to do in a time of war, but Nariko is going to show them that at least in this case it was not the right thing to do. So first I'm going to start off giving a lot of orders as we try to set up to defend this bridge, and with several groups to control means there's more time spent just forming up ready to fight, and the fight's going to start real fast because the enemy are attacking with 3 cavalrymen, one of them Lord Shima himself. I think it's that guy there in the red who just passed us by. So we're going to try and cut these guys down. We have lots of cavalry of our own thanks to the Amako troops that were trying to defend this caravan, bringing some of their own. So we cut down that horseman. There's another one fighting with Kojiro just there. Almost hit Kojiro himself, thinking that he might actually be the enemy, but it's this guy on foot. I think that must have been Lord Shima, given how ornate his armor was. And my troops have dealt with the other cavalrymen, so now we're going to form up to face the enemy's infantry. Arrows flying all over the place, but we're firing plenty back. The enemy not putting too much emphasis on the use of the bridge, coming slowly across the river to advance towards us, which breaks up their formation even more than it already was because of their charge, meaning we are going to have a pretty easy time actually holding the line here. One thing I did notice though is that Lord Shima seems to have taken a leaf out of Nariko's book and is using female soldiers in this advance, using them incredibly ineffectively, but interesting to see another commander actually putting them to use, quite a rare thing. So the enemy, basically broken at this stage, going to advance across the bridge to take out these couple of skirmishers who could still do some damage to our line, and basically just needed to charge everyone across to finish off the enemy, and down they go there. We find a few stragglers right at the back of the map. We've been victorious and the caravan has been defended, and hopefully we've sent a message out to the samurai and especially to Lord Shima that attacking these trade caravans, which are mostly civilians, is not the sort of thing that we are going to accept happening under Nariko's rule of the area. The caravan master very thankful that we helped them, and some of the guards from the caravan actually volunteered to join our party, so that's fantastic news. We'll take on a few to bolster our ranks, which are now getting very bolstered indeed. We have loads of troops getting towards the limit to the amount Nariko can even control. So after that battle we go back to the usual project of collecting up money, and what we're doing with it is spreading it around Nara in the same way that we spread money around Kyoto in order to bolster Nariko's good name, which will allow the guild master to have the leverage he needs to get us into one of the local guilds and buy a business, which of course is super helpful for maintaining our party since it's getting more and more expensive the bigger it gets. The best thing I could buy here was the lacquer works, just like in Kyoto. The markets are particularly poor. Basically every business I could possibly buy was going to make me a loss, so it seems the economic situation is particularly bad, despite this actually being one of the richer parts of Japan. Sakai to the west is actually the richest city in Japan. And on that topic actually, my economic situation had become pretty bad. I overspent on that lacquer works. I'm actually now about to go into debt with my own troops unless I can make a big score very fast. And that actually came in the form of this monk rebel band of almost 40 members, which we encountered near Kyoto, luckily before I had to pay my troops. So all we need to do now is win this battle and loot everything we can, hopefully getting the 800 or so mons worth of stuff that I'll need to be able to make it through the next week. And after that we should hopefully have some time to collect some more money to try and get a bit of financial security moving forward. These monk rebels with lots of gunners prove super easy to attack because the gunners are so vulnerable to just being attacked from horseback, and their main attacking group just gets cut down by my skirmishers, many of them trying to flee. Had to find a few more actually hidden in these trees at the back of the map who for some reason didn't run with the rest of the enemy's party. But soon victory is ours, and the only question is how much loot are we going to get out of this? Is it going to be enough? Do we have to go hunt for more rebels? Luckily we get lots of good stuff, including some guns, which are always super valuable after having been introduced to the country only 20 years ago. Pretty much every warlord's always on the lookout for guns, so they're going to fetch a good price in any market, and we'll take them to Kyoto to sell. Now just outside Kyoto I noticed that Lord Shima is at it again. He's attacking another caravan right outside the city. Outrageous. We're definitely going to step in to try and stop him again.
I must say, our lady's being naive. Clan caravans are targets as fair as any other. I bet you were a popular lord. Send your people out onto the road to take all your little goods to market, and promise that you won't protect them if they're attacked because they're a fair target. It seems my ruthlessness is only surpassed by your talent for exaggeration. Everyone who marches below a clan banner knows the risks and the rewards. Lady Nariko should not risk our troops just because she's decided this band in particular worthy of saving. What's this? A samurai who doesn't want to risk his life? How many battles did you fight to defend the Ito clan, Kojikun? If you want to school me on Bushido, you've got a long road ahead of you, little miss. A master of the arts knows that to risk one's life without purpose is just as foolish and dishonorable as refusing all risk at all times. Forgive me, I don't have the time to school a mad woman on the value of the middle way. Oh, certainly not. You'd be wasting your time on me. But you might be able to convince Nariko-chan. After all, that's what me and you are for, right? Leaders need people at their side to guide them. Although, actually our leader in particular isn't much for listening to advice. Lady Nariko has a clear vision for what she wants to achieve and what she's willing to do to achieve it. She's fair, she's brave, and has personal courage beyond that of most officers you'll find in this land. However, these are not the traits of those who have succeeded. For all history, characters like her have risen and fallen. It is always the calm, the detached, the ambitious, and the learned that actually change the world. Do not take my cynicism for dissent, but for a fear that the cause of Our Lady, the cause I have pledged myself to further, might not one day reach its ultimate potential, and the land will suffer because of it. Well, now I'm moved. I knew you loved us, really. Your ability to always think of the wrong thing to say is rather special. What's not to love about that?
Lord Shima has been defeated once again by the combined forces of Nariko and the Caravan Guards. We had about double their numbers in that fight, so it was relatively easy. No losses on our own side. Fantastic news. So we're going to move on now, and with that fight over, it's really time to actually go and attack that rebel base and then go find Lord Miyoshi in Kyoto. We can see that right now he's not in Kyoto, he's actually right next to the rebel base, but he's not going to be helping us out this time. So we've still got a bit of time to kill. Let's go in and see if we can end the reign of these rebels. We're making a night attack this time, which will reduce the accuracy of ranged fire for both sides, although we know the Kunai rebels don't make much use of ranged weapons, so that may not make a difference. It actually impacts us because you can see lots of our team have ranged weapons. So similar to the last attack, I'm starting by just hiding behind this building and generally sizing up both who I've got to work with and the enemy situation. We can see no one's coming out to meet us, and there are a few heads on that watchtower in the distance that I decide to target. Managed to hit one, but don't actually kill the person I hit, but the sound of gunfire draws a couple of the enemies outside, and now they're going to have an unpleasant surprise. I cut down one, the other sees me, but now is shot from behind by my hiding team. So that worked quite well. Perhaps we've alerted the enemy to our presence. Now it's time to move in a little closer and look for more targets. Going to try and pick off as many as we can before we enter their base. Another enemy on a watchtower takes a well-aimed shot, and if I'd aimed it any longer I would have been ambushed by those troops coming up beside me, who got very close before I realised they were there. Luckily, my veteran Onobushi companion cuts down one with an arrow. The one with no armour runs off into the field for some reason, and then the other guy is simply cut down, leaving his friend to fight on his own, and without armour he's going to be extra easy to defeat. So that was all well and good. We can now move up a little bit further. Went up to the doorway to their compound and started just peeking around, taking shots inside and killing anyone who happened to come into view. Might as well do this before we go in, since we know the enemy can respawn at any place inside the compound, so at least outside we always know what direction they're coming from. Saw my party try to hit this guy in the distance, decided to show them how it's done with a cheeky shot, smashing that guy off the watchtower, much to the awe of my party, no doubt. So eventually I had to have a little peek further inside to find more enemies, starting to shoot more distant ones now. The problem going to be that I'm going to run out of ammo before we've depleted the enemy's ability to respawn troops. My guys once again going at it against some guy in the far distance who's barely visible at night. Unfortunately, I'm distracted by the fact that we've got guys actually coming out to fight us now. It's time for some melee. This Ronin protector, heavily armoured and armed, easily dealing with those enemies. The other one's coming out and not going going to be able to kill all of us, but still trying. Take a hit actually from that one, stabbing just past my guard, but he's not going to last long either as we bring him down. So I'm now under half health, but that shouldn't be a huge issue, as surely we've killed most of the enemies already. I'm out of ammunition now though, so I need to go in and hunt the enemies down. I'm ordering my party to charge for just that purpose. So they're all running this way, which indicates to me that that's where the enemy all are, so we're going to follow them in. The Ronin Protector, very eager to get into battle, and there are actually 3 enemies here, the first of which cuts him down, so that could have gone better. And now they focus on that hired gunner and the veteran Onobushi, who are both in trouble. Luckily I can come in behind and cut these enemies down, similar to a tournament actually. Veteran Onobushi falls, the hired gunner has already fallen as well. The last enemy, we managed to get him, but he also took down a veteran Onobushi with him. So now we're down to 1 more veteran Onobushi, Mari and Kojiro. So lost 2 troops to defeat 3, not the best. And that's what happens when you charge into melee against opponents, especially in my custom version of the mod, where weapons are much more deadly and you can die very easily. Luckily I found some bullets on one of these dead enemies, so we don't actually have to risk the rest of our party killing the remainder of the enemy force, who are right at the other end of the base. Just 2 more enemies who come rushing over to meet us as we get close. Nariko missing a very easy shot there, very embarrassing. Now I'm going to have to make up for it by beating these guys in melee. A bit dangerous because they have long weapons that outrange her sword, but it's not going to be good enough, especially as Mari sneaks in to get the last kill. So fantastic work from our party. The bandits are once again defeated.
You'll be fine. Let me know if it gets hard to breathe. Otherwise, you just need to keep still and eat as much as you can bear. Thank you, my lady. It hurts to swallow, but if it will help, I will endure it. You need food? Look at this. Whole fish, salted and everything. They've got loads hanging back there. Perhaps just some rice? How dull. Remind me not to take a blade to the chest if that's what it does to your appetite. Do you need something, Mari? Just wanted to say you should go see Kojkun. He's brooding on the step over there, probably trying to pretend he didn't lose a hand or something. Fine. Can I leave you to watch Haruka? Yeah, no problem. Little hungry Haruka. Here, eat some fish. Wash it down with this. Haven't found a wound the Mari's special won't cure yet. If it pleases you, miss. Kojiro-kun, is something wrong? Not for tonight, and perhaps not tomorrow either. You've given the people a respite from this banditry, just as you always do. You just seem down. You don't have to talk about it if you'd rather not. But I must talk about it, to you in particular. Do you see, my lady, how no matter how many sellswords and brigands we slay, that sellswords and brigands still abound? I see it plenty. I have grown used to the knowledge that all we're doing is temporary. Better this than nothing, would you not agree? Just barely. We have proven that we can defeat any opponent in battle, be it bandits or the petty hosts of the samurai lords themselves. But we cannot defeat the real evil, the source of the endless conflict. That, my lady, is what sours this victory for me. Hunger at the bottom and ambition at the top. We can't end those forces, and those forces will always be creating tumult as long as they remain out of control. Everyone says that the war will end when one warlord kills the rest, leaving no more room for ambition and fewer mouths to feed. We cannot expect to make a dent in that course of history. And by such lines of thinking, no one does. The war shall continue to the bitter end, then. Forget I said anything, Nariko. I have dampened the night enough. Let's continue doing what we can, and pray that your course of history does not change to smother us all.
After collecting all the spoils from the rebel base, I decided to go over to Nara to start selling them off and make a large amount of money from all this, which we happen to need quite a bit. And while I was here, I noticed that these guys actually had iron in stock, so after many months of searching, we finally found somewhere in Japan that is selling iron. I don't know if that's a very good price or whether we'll even make a profit if we were to take that to the blacksmith and turn it to tools, but whatever the case, we're going to buy it after such a long search. So next up, all I really need to do is kill some time. We need to meet up with Great Lord Miyoshi in Kyoto and have this audience we've been waiting for, but he needs to actually be there. He's not there right now, so decided to take a look at the arena at Kyoto. It has a special arena because it is the capital. You can see it's very nice with more combatants practicing in there. Decided to talk to the master to see if there were any tournaments happening, because there could have been tournaments somewhere in the Miyoshi lands which would have been easy to reach. The ones are at the Takeda and Oda capital. It's not too hard to reach, but we're not going to bother travelling to those. So a couple of days later, I saw Great Lord Miyoshi returning back towards Kyoto from a war he must have been fighting, but he actually didn't come to Kyoto itself. I decided what I'll do is just wait in Kyoto at the inn to see if he would actually stop off. He walked around Kyoto for a while and then disappeared back off to war once again. I think the Miyoshi clan is having a very heavy war to the west with the Ukita clan, and all of their lords are constantly over there rather than at their bases. So that means I'm going to be left waiting for quite a long time. A couple of days later, I decided to spend the next few days working at a nearby village as a way to pass the time a little bit faster. And while I was doing this, I had to pay out to my troops, and you can see from this they're actually losing about 650 mon, even with all our businesses diluting that. And the thing is here, we can't do this forever. We can't just wait because we're losing this money. We need to be making a profit. One way I could do that was to do missions, and the guildmaster at Sakai asked me to hunt down some bandits, so I decided to do that for him. The bandits were right outside the city, and as it turns out, they were only very poorly equipped bandits, nothing compared to the usual rebels we were facing. They charged us, attacking us uphill against our line. We're just raining arrows upon them, easily destroying them. Order my infantry to advance there in order to finish them off. With our armour and long weapons, the enemy don't stand any chance whatsoever, and they rightly start routing off the field at that stage. So we can take that back into Sakai and hand the quest into the guild master to get a little bit of money off him. Not very much apparently, because the bandits have been stealing all of their cash. I guess that makes sense. So anyway, I now headed back to Kyoto a few days later, and finally Great Lord Miyoshi was actually at the castle, so we can go up to the castle and request an audience with him, and finally we're going to get our chance to ask him the question we've been waiting all this time to actually put to him. Lady Nariko, Nariko of the Thousand Whatever You Wishes, welcome. My lord, glad to finally meet you again. No doubt you are. Yosuke, close the screen and keep the hall closed until I tell you. Take a seat with me, Nariko-dono. I won't make you wait any longer. Ask me anything. Thank you, my lord. I'm looking for a monk who used to serve the imperial household. His name is Tenkai. Tenkai. I know the man. Such a strange request given the subject. I think I know where you might find him, but I cannot send you there without first hearing your reason for seeking him. If I may, my lord, let's forget the reason. Let the responsibility for all this be mine to bear. Please tell me where he is. You've gone through so much, achieved so much, and put my own lords to shame, all for a chance to learn imperial secrets. And yet here you are, asking after a monk whose name I might as well have forgotten, for his involvement in the whole affair of the Emperor's death was negligible. Do you see why I grow suspicious, Nariko-dono? I insist that you return the trust I am placing in you by speaking at all. Tell me the whole truth. He knows, I think, about an imperial treasure. As do I, as do scores of people. There are hundreds of treasures from the palace scattered across the land, both by design and by the procession of turmoil. Well, this one belongs to me. That's a bold claim. Unless you are older than you look, I dare say the Emperor was dead before you were breathing. What then did he bequeath to you? My father was a smith to the household. He took something to Kyushu before the palace was overrun. He was killed because of it, and I am his only descendant. So now I must become its guardian. But what is it? I don't know. I never knew. He never spoke of it. He did not want you to have any part in it, I have no doubt. And now you've gotten yourself sunk deep into the matter by your own action, much to the delight of the coffin makers. Yes, my lord. I sense there is a great deal more that could be discussed here, but at the very least, let me begin by telling you the morsel you have earned, no matter how meagre it is. Tenkai, the monk, is a hostage of the Jiman sect. You've heard of them, no? Yes, my lord. Operating from Midera Fortress, we've crossed paths with some of their raiding parties. And swords, I hear.
They make the Ikoiki seem like courteous diplomats, men who drive themselves into crazed states and reject anything that displeases them as unholy. The fortress was a regular monastery when Tenkai fled there from Kyoto. Last time I met him, 10 years ago, was when the rise of the Jumon was starting up there. Wanted advice on the matter, and I foolishly told him that as harvests improved, it would all pass by. Of course, that never happened. Now all his monks follow the corrupted ways, and as abbot of the fortress, he is stuck there, forced to go along with it or face a most violent expulsion. I can't guarantee that he's still alive, but if you wish to see him, you'll need to either join the sect yourself, or, perhaps more helpfully to me, put an end to them. And before you ask, no, I don't have troops to spare.
I will not need them, my lord. You have already given me everything I needed. Thank you.
I am tempted to thank you in return for letting me be part of your little story. I'm sure the people of Kyoto will speak of you for years to come, and if you can topple Midera, then so shall I. So following Great Lord Miyoshi's advice, we want to head north to take a look at Midera Fortress to see what sort of garrison it has inside. It has 76 troops composed of Jumon monk warriors, some rebels, and some mercenaries, hired warriors and hired gunners. Plus, they're going to have fortifications that will stop us from reaching some of those troops once the battle starts, so the value of troops with guns is going to be greatly enhanced. Now our party is almost as large as the defending one, but of course they're going to have defenders advantage, so it would be nice to have a larger party than they, and I'm allowed up to about 90 troops. So one thing I started to think was I'd hire extra party members temporarily just for the purpose of this battle, because we probably couldn't afford to have a party of 90 all the time. But for the short period of time we'd need to besiege and attack Midera Fortress, it might be doable. First, I went to Kyoto, because in the big cities we can hire samurai troops, who of course will allow us to have the most power per man, so make good use of our remaining troop slots. The problem with this though is that they're very expensive to hire. It costs multiple weeks worth of my entire army's upkeep just to bring on these 8 extra samurai, so we're probably not going to be doing that. It's going to be much cheaper to actually take regular troops on, and they are still pretty much as effective in the right circumstances. The Miyoshi have many villages to the southwest around Sakai, so I decided to head there, both to check out the villages and to continue increasing my reputation with Sakai, because it's almost at the level where I can buy a business. A farmer in the inn tells me that his village has been taken over by bandits, so we'll certainly go and help him, both to earn more trust from the people and to earn the money we're going to need to hire and upgrade all these extra troops and upkeep them for the short amount of time we'll need them for. The capital, Kyoto, was finally stabilizing once again. For better or for worse, the Miyoshi's hold on the Kenai area had been cemented by Nariko's dutiful suppression of the local rebel forces. At the very least, the raiding of the countryside would come to an end, and that was enough to complete Nariko's idol status among the common people. Not seeing the affair as wholly untarnished, Nariko herself didn't understand how valued she was. She failed to see that which her companions knew was true, that it wasn't just her own paid troops who would gladly follow her to the gates of death. Thank you so much for watching. The assault on Midera will begin a little bit sooner than Nariko would have liked on the next episode of Nariko's Treasure.